Douglas Townshend, 8th Earl of Edgewood, had settled into marriage at an early age and was now only 43. Tall, with black hair and amber eyes, he was a handsome man who frustrated the local matchmakers because he had refused to remarry after his wife died. He'd bequeathed his handsome visage and impressive height to his two sons, Sebastian and Denton. A year apart in age, with Sebastian being the older at 22, the brothers should have got along splendidly, but that wasn't the case. Sebastian was much closer to his friend Giles Weems than he'd ever been to Denton. Not that he didn't love his brother, but Denton had a jealous nature that he'd long since given up trying to conceal. It had grown over the years until now he was a bitter young man, driven to excesses in drink due to his resentment that he'd never wear a title other than Lord, simply because he was a second son. Unlike Sebastian, Denton had often gained their father's disapproval. Douglas sighed now.
"I will assume you didn't know this woman was Giles's wife."
Good God! No one knew he'd married while he and Denton were touring France. Denton didn't know, or he was sworn to secrecy, because he said nothing about it when I went to London to welcome them home. And Giles didn't tell me, hasn't even told his family yet. He's obviously kept her secretly in London since he returned to England, probably to give him time to break off with his fiancée before she hears of it. I didn't know the woman was married, father, to anyone, least of all to my best friend.
But you did make love to her.
Sebastian flushed, wished to hell he could deny it, but couldn't.
Yes. Then go after him. Explain your part in this. Make amends however you must. But you will not meet him in the morning. I forbid it. He's not some passing acquaintance. You two have been inseparable since you were children, just as Cecil and I have been, and he's Cecil's only son.
Sebastian had every intention of doing just that, and not just because he loved Giles like a brother. His father said it aptly just before he left to find Giles.
I know you, Sebastian. You wouldn't be able to live with yourself if you harmed him.
Unfortunately, the harm had already been done. There was nothing that could undo it or explain it away. Sebastian realized that clearly as the day wore on, and he agonized over how to make amends to his friend. His explanations did nothing but enrage Giles more. He was in no state of mind to listen. Whether he believed Sebastian or not, it still came down to the simple fact that, however unintentionally, Sebastian had slept with his wife. Dawn barely lighted the sky the following morning. The rain had started several hours earlier and continued with no sign of letting up. Sebastian's second, Theodore Pulley, was hopeful the duel would be cancelled because of it. He was only an impartial acquaintance, but he was behaving as if he'd melt if the rain didn't stop soon. Actually, it was the accompanying thunder that made him so jumpy. Sebastian said nothing in response to the man's nervous chatter. He was numb. Over the long sleepless hours of the night, he'd decided what he had to do, the only thing he could do to redeem himself. It wouldn't be the first time a man had gone to a duel with the intention of dying. Giles was late. Theodore was suggesting they leave when Giles and his second arrived. Sebastian didn't recognize the fourth man, who was acting as Giles's second.
"Couldn't find the bloody path in the rain,"
Giles explained. Theodore still wanted to get out of the rain sooner rather than later, and put the suggestion to the latecomers.
"Ought to cancel this, don't you think? Wait for a clear morning?" "At this time of year," the other second countered with a slight indistinguishable accent. "When is there ever a clear morning?"
"We duel now, or I murder him," was Giles's clipped response. So much for hoping a night's sleep might have dredged up some forgiveness, or at least the realization that Sebastian hadn't wronged him intentionally. But Giles appeared to be just as angry as he had been the day before. Theodore coughed and said, "Quite right. We'll keep it sporting then." Giles's pistols were brought to Sebastian for inspection.